Torah K'toisha and Aser Sadibris, the Rabbi Shalom says, Kabed es avicha ve'esimecha. Zok the Gemara in Ksubis, Avada, the Guf HaMitzvah, Kabed es avicha ve'esimecha. We spent a lot of weeks to Shulchan Aruch, how to be Mekayim properly, the mitzvah of Kibud Av V'Eim. But Zok the Gemara, we marbe Kabed es avicha ve'esimecha. Es avicha is to be marba, a cheluk of being machabed your father, is if a person's father remarries. So it's not your mother anymore, it's your stepmother. Still, there's a chiyuv to machabed. There's a chiyuv to machabed a father's wife. The esimecha l'rabbis, a mother's husband. That's nichlal in the mitzvah of Kibud Av V'Eim. Yeah, like the Gemara says clearly, the Gemara in Ksubis, that it's the Raisa. Then the Gemara is mamshech, and the Gemara says there's an additional vav, ve'esimecha. The additional vav is to be marba achicha agadol. To be marba achicha agadol. It's interesting why the vav is extra. Bishleima, the S. It could have said Kabed avicha v'imecha. So it didn't have to say Es avicha v'esimecha. But the Vav had to say regardless, Kabed avicha v'imecha. But Al-Kapanim, the Gemara says that he's a Vav Yisera, and we darshan to be Mechabed, person's Mechuyev to Mechabed his older brother. The first shaila is the Chiyev to be Mechabed an older brother, a Chiyev min ha-Torah, or a Chiyev min derabanan. The Gemara spells out clearly when it comes to stepmother, stepfather, that it's midiraisa. What's about achicha hagadol? A person has an older brother to be mechabed. The Gemara says you mechuyev to mechabed your older brother. Is it a chiyuv min ha-Torah or a chiyuv min derabanan? The Rambam.
Is that the same Scheiner?
What'd you say?
Is the same Scheiner?
So you want to know why is it pshitale that Ashes, a stepfather, a mother? That's clear, it's the Raisa. The Gemara says it's the Raisa. So the Chayr should be the same thing. Very good. We'll see. We'll go through step by step why it should be different. You're saying l'chayr it should be the same thing. So let's first take a look at the Rambam. Yeah, we're going to be avara why it should be different. Very good. The Rishonim speak about it. The Rambam in Hilchos Mamrim, the Rambam says. First, the Rambam brings the halacha of being mechaber a stepfather and a stepmother, and then the Rambam is mamshech, and the Rambam says umidivrei soifrim sheyeh adam chayiv b'chvoid achiv agadol. Umidivrei soifrim, which means umidirabanon, a person mechuyev to mechaber his older brother. Now, right away, the Noisa Kalim on the Rambam explain. The Radvaz, the Kesef Mishnah, that the Rambam has a Yesoid all over. It's famous in Kedushin that the Rambam calls Kinyan Kesef Medivrei Soifrim, even though it's a Klar Drush in the Gemara in the beginning of Kedushin. The Rambam calls something that's not Mefurish in the Torah Medivrei Soifrim. Be'etzem, it's really Midiraisa. To be mechaber older brothers midiraisa. This that the Ram calls him a divrei soifrim because it's not mefurish. It's just with a ribu of a s of a vav. Stellt sich aber the shaila. And what's about a stepfather and a stepmother? Over there, the Rambam didn't call him a divrei soifrim. Only the second chelak of the Rambam. The Rambam starts chayav adam lechabed as eishes aviv. Stepfather, stepfather. Then Dr. Rambam, Divrei Soifrim, our older brother. So you tell me Divrei Soifrim means Midiraisa, just as Midrasha. So what's the pshat? Es avicha ve'esi mecho is l'chayra also a drasha. So why doesn't the Rambam, the whole Rambam, should say that Sai mechaber a stepfather and a stepmother and Stai achicha godlos with Divrei Soifrim? So Lamai said in Meyashev, and they say that S is like it says Mefurish. Mashegin the vav is a drush and it's not mefurish. That's in the Miyashav the Rambam, but avad it's all the Raisa. The Torah Tzimim is bothered, and then he says, l'chayr, they're both drushes. The Rambam's Yesod that something that's not mafurish in the Torah is called Medivrei Seifrim is anytime it's a drasha. So what's the chiluk if it's a whole word or if it's just the ice? And Mimeli he says like this. He says that there's a chiluk between the mitzvah of being mechaber a stepfather and a stepmother, which that's going to be masber why there should be a chiluk, and the chiluk of being mechaber an older brother. To mechaber a stepfather and a stepmother is nichlal in the mitzvah of Kibud Av. When somebody's mechaber a stepmother, what's the kibbud? The kibbud is he's mechaber his father. V'haraya, like the Gemara says, we're going to get to it soon, but the Gemara says la'achar moisai, there's no chiyuv. You only have to be mechaber your father's wife. That's part of being mechaber your father. So memela la'achar misa, you're not mechuyev to mechaber the father's wife. That the Gemara says that. Masha enkein achicha gadol. We're going to get to it, but he says the achicha gadol mochit mechabed, an older brother, even after the father's nifter. Zetzachos, it's a new din. It's a new din. It's not the din of Kibud Av. If it's a new din, it's not the din of Kibud Av. This new din is not mafurish in the Torah. It's a drasha. To mechaber a stepfather and a stepmother is mafurish in the Torah. Where's the mafurish? Kaba de sevicha v'asimecha. The S is megala that this is part of the mitzvah of Kibud Av V'Eim. But the mitzvah's Kibud Av V'Eim is mefurish in the Torah. That's why the Rambam doesn't call it Medivrei Seifrim. Ma'aseh Enkin, be mechaber older brother is a separate mitzvah. It's with a drasha. Maybe that's what the Rambam calls it Medivrei Seifrim.
Similar to Kibud Av.
We'll see, Taka. It's similar. You're 100% right. We'll get to it. The Rambam even says a lashon Kibud Av. Yeah, richtig. But I'll come on him, and we're gonna go into more the chiluk between Eishes Av and
is Kibud Av Gufa.
Eishes Av is Kibud Av Gufa, and that's why the Rambam doesn't say Medivrei Seifrim. Mashenki and our older brothers Medivrei Seifrim. So what do we have so far? Very clear in one line, the mitzvah of being mechabed achicha agadol is a chiyuv min haTorah. The Rambam happens to call him a Medivrei Seifrim al pi the klal because it's a drasha, but it's a chiyuv min haTorah to mechaber the older brother. Lamaisa, the Minchas Chinuch has an arichas about it, and in one side, the Minchas Chinuch says it could be that when the Rambam says Medivrei Seifrim, it's takem et derabanan. The Gemara. Avada, the Gemara is talking about a stepfather and a stepmother. Over there, the Gemara says it's the Raisa. Masha'enkein, when the Gemara says ve'es the vav, these sugyas ashas, the Gemara in Yuma, the Gemara in Yuvamis, that these shitas that hold that you don't dash in a vav. So the Gemara says it's a smach, that's only the Rabbanon. So we have over here pashtas shitas around it's the Raisa, could be it's the Rabbanon. Let's move along a little more in this, if this chiyuv min haTorah midrabanan. The Rambam in Sefer HaMitzvahs, in the beginning, before he goes through the minyan HaMitzvahs, the Rambam has shroshim. The Rambam explains, how did I get to the 613 mitzvahs? These different Rishonim have other ways how to get to the 613 mitzvahs. The Rambam has shroshim with klolim how he gets to the 613 mitzvahs. In Shoirish Beis, Dr. Rambam, I only count the Taryag mitzvahs, only mitzvahs that it's mefurish in the Torah. Something that's with a drasha is not counted. Not counted. Dr. Rambam, that's why I don't count mechaber Talmud Chacham. Es l'Rabbi is Talmud Chacham, because it's a drasha. Avad it's a chiyuv min haTorah, but it's not from the Taryag mitzvahs because it's a drasha. But Dr. Rambam, the moinei mitzvahs, the Rambam himself in the Shoirish asks, but the moinei mitzvahs that do count Kibud Talmud Chacham, are they right from the Taryag mitzvahs? Why don't they also count in the Taryag mitzvahs Achicha Agadol? They should also count Achicha Agadol. Yeah, they ask also they should count also a stepfather, stepmother, but why don't they count Achicha Agadol? Meaning to say is that even the Rambam agrees avada that achicha agadol is a deraisa, but the Rambam says I don't count being mechaber achicha agadol as one of the Taryag mitzvahs because it's not mafurish, it's a drasha. But the ones that count even a drasha, they should count achicha agadol as minyan mitzvahs. So the Ramban comes to answer this, the shaila of the Rambam, the moine mitzvahs. I think the Bahag that counts the Rabbis Talmud Chacham. Why don't they count achicha agadol? Zok the Ramban 3 pshatim. The first 2 pshatim are both that it's deraisa. First he says that Ksai being mechaber a stepfather and a stepmother, and Sai being mechaber an older brother is only mechayim. Chiddush. We're going to get to it if it's mechayim or not. And he says memela it's nichlal and kibud av v'eim. So they didn't have. It's not another mitzvah. The Torah is a mitzvah. Time it's kibud av. It's included. It's a prat. It's a chelik of the mitzvah. It's a chelik of the mitzvah. So memela that's always miyasha. But we're still holding klar that the mechaber an older brother is min Torah. Klar chiv to mechaber an older brother is min Torah. The second teretz, he says, just like nobody counts Kibud Av V'Eim for 2 mitzvahs. The Torah says Kabed es avicha ve'esimecha. Is that 2 mitzvahs? It's only 1 mitzvah. That's klar. Zokter Ramban, Lu Yitzur, it's not a drasha. Let's say the Torah would say mefurish Kabed es avicha ve'esimecha ve'esachicha agadol. It's not another mitzvah. It's all one big mitzvah. How many people do you have to mechaber? It's all included in the mitzvah. Harei, so far we have clearly that the chiyuv to mechaber the older brother is a chiyuv min Torah. It's a mitzvah sasei midiraisa. It's a chiyuv. It's not a separate mitzvah. It's included in the mitzvah of kibud av. It's part of it. The Ramban in the 3rd teretz, the Ramban says the following. You know why they don't count achicha agadol? Because achicha agadol is a drasha with a vav. And vav, we don't darshan. And maybe it's only the Rabbanon. It's only the Rabbanon. So the Ramban in the 3rd pshat on the moine mitzvahs is going to hacker that it's the Rabbanon. The Meiri in Ksubas says clearly that it's with the Rabbanon. Meiri in Ksubas. The drasha, it's asmachta ba'alma. But Lamaisa, the pashtas from Roiv Rishonim, in B'tzel HaChachma uses a lashon. The Rishonim and the Achronim say it's the Raisa, and the Meiri is a Dei Yechidah. Atkan, the first nekuda of the shir, if it's a chiyuv min HaTorah mit the Rabbanon, Machloikis, Pashtas more, it's the Raisa. Is the chiyuv to be mechaber an older brother even after the father was nifter? We spoke about it, Toich HaRayis, but now we'll handle Kishala Atzvai. Does one have to mechaber his older brother if his father is not alive? The Rambam that we brought, the Rambam is mechalek by a stepfather and a stepmother. The Rambam says mefurish that you only mechuyev to mechaber only mechayim. But then when the Rambam speaks about achicha agadol, over there is not mechalek. What seemed clearly that the Rambam holds that achicha agadol, a person's mechuyev to mechaber even la'achamisa. Mi'idach, the Ramban that we just mentioned in one of the Tirutzim, the Ramban says the reason why they don't count, the Moedi HaMitzvahs don't count achicha agadol, because it's included in kibud av. Why? Because la'achamisa there's no chiyuv. So we have over here a machloikis, if the chiyuv to be mechaber the older brother is the raisa, and we now have a machloikis if the chiyuv to mechaber the older brother is even la'achar the father was nifter, machloikis. Pashtus, the machloikis is if it's the mitzvah, as we saw before, is a mitzvah of kibud av, or it's a separate mitzvah. We'll get to that soon also. And lanafke mina, could the father be moichel? Could the father be moichel on kibud av achicha agadol? Could the father say, I'm moichel, tell the younger son that he's moichel, that he doesn't have to mechaber the older son? If it's metam kibud av, why would it be metam kibud av? Because the father wants that the younger brothers she mechaber the older brothers. The Lashon and the Rishonim, the Achrayim. The father wants that the younger brothers she mechaber the older brothers. The older brother is memela. It's nichlal and kibud av. If it's nichlal and kibud av, the father can be moichel. If it's not nichlal and kibud av, the father can't be moichel. That's a good shaila. Rabbi is asking, even if it's nichal and kibud av, l'chayr it should be shaykh even afterwards. Good shaila. B'doime that he's avada kibud av even after a person's father was nifter. It's a good shaila. But one thing I do want to say is, you see klor, such a chiluk in the Gemara already, because the Gemara says by a stepfather and a stepmother it's only mechayim, and it's metam kibud av, zetzachos, being mechabit somebody else that's goyrim nachas ruach to the father has to be around to be able to appreciate it. But I see already in the Gemara, Lagabi, a stepfather and a stepmother. Yeah. What's the geder of being mechabit an older brother? What's the geder? The seist. We just came off saying that it's maybe nichlal and kibud av, not nichlal. What I mean, what the geder is, the Lashon Rambam is to be mechaber your older brother, zok the Rambam, v'chayiv v'chvoid achiv agadol, ki kvoid aviv. Mechuyit mechaber your older brother like kibud av. And as is mavur in the tour, the Ramban, ala Torah, zok the Ramban, when Yaakov ran away from Esav, and then he sent shluchim, malachim, and he said, Avdecha, Adoni, Zokter Ramban Veda, all this covered that Yaakov gave to Esav, Pashas, you understand, he was afraid. He did it b'pachdos, so Zokter Ramban to say all this. Why? Als Maile v'kaved ala b'chor, ki ilu hu aviv, out the drush of Achicha Agadol. But also the Ramban, it's interessant when he says that Yaakov was mechaber Esav ki'ilu hu aviv. So if the pshat is kibud av is nichlal, okay, so it's ki'ilu hu aviv, it's part of the kibud. However, as we saw, that could be the chiyuv is even la'acha mises ha'av, it's not a chiyuv of kibud av. What's the vart? So you have to say, you mechabed, the poskim already explained this, you mechabed your brother b'doima like you mechabed your father, but avad it's not the same way. This is very important. The Minchas Chinuch says, Harei ra'inu, Lo matzinu nizharim bazet. He mechaber an older brother like a father. He says others say even even Yirei Shemayim, Yireim Ushleimim are not mechaber an older brother like a father. The B'tzel HaChachman and Tshuva says avada, regardless what the geder of kibud of being mechaber an older brother, Zok the B'tzel HaChachma. It's not what we just learned now in the Night Kollel, a whole simon long with seifim how to mechaber a father.
So he brings it to Shachanach afterwards. It doesn't say to Shachanach what, what, no.
Oh, it doesn't say. It's very interesting. In Minchas Yechiel, he says that the reason why it's not bedoima, he says, is that it's a genai for the father. It's embarrassing if you mechaber your older brother like your father. It's a gnai. So what? So he says, Mosra Torah techachomim to be magder. What? Oh, we don't know. It doesn't say in the Shulchan Aruch. He says like a bedoim techalamoid. It's minat Torah. Even the sheet is that it's minat Torah, but Mosra Torah lechachom. So he says Mosra lechachom. What? It's not so clear. Not so clear. What? It's not the same as kibud av, but it's the mechaber older brother. Okay, now we're going to get into Bekitzer, but two shilas that I feel a lot are waiting for this. So we said Atkan, the Chiyuv ti mechaber the older brother, but Pashtus is Midei Raisa, the Arshitis that it's the Rabbanon. These are machloikis if it's even la'achar misa, and we also saw that it's not mamash exactly like Kibud Av. Even if it's a cheluk of Kibud Av, you're not mechaber a brother like a father.
Who pays for it, the brother or the father?
You're saying if it's nichlal and Kibud Av, so it should be the same thing. Good, interessant. I didn't see they should speak about it. Who pays for it? Good, interessant shaila. Is it only the oldest brother? Is it only the oldest brother? Or is it all the brothers above you? We'll get to that in a minute also. A sister, very good. We'll get to that also. Is it only the oldest brother? The Mishnah in Yavam is mitzvah begadol liyabib. Mitzvah begadol means the oldest brother. And if he doesn't want, you go down to the next brothers, What's the din? Is it a chiyuv? And we're seeing here, Pashat Tzachiyuv ben Atayr. Is it only the oldest brother? Or it's all the brothers above you? So it's a machloikis. Chlor machloikis. It's a machloikis. The Shvus Yaakov, the Bais Yehuda brings from the Arizal, the Halachas Ketanas, the Gilui Mashar, they quote that it's only the oldest brother. Only the oldest brother, the Bechor. I'm not sure if the pshat is it needs to be the Bechor or it means he's the oldest brother. What's if there's a girl on top? We'll get to the sister in a minute. But Lu Yitzur, we're talking now brothers. The oldest, does it? You have to be the Bechor B'Hakom, the oldest. Me'idach. The Birkei Yosef says that no, the Arizal holds that the Chiyuv is for all the older brothers. Azoi is the Pashtus, the Chassam Sofer and the Tshuva, Toichat Dvarim, he brings the Beis Lachem Yud, and he says it's Kvar Mavu already, that it's not like that, and Avadi Mechuyev Ti Mechaber, all your older brothers. The Torah Tamima brings a raya from a Medrash. Rashi quotes this Medrash in Parshas Vayechi. When Yaakov Avinu gave the brothers, his children, the brachas, by Shimon v'Levi Achem. So Rashi brings the Medrash Lagabe the Eitz of Shechem and Lagabe the Eitz of Mechiras Yosef. So the shaila is, how do we know it was them? So Rashi goes through the different brothers, and Rashi says maybe it was Yisachar Zvulun. So Rashi, no, because Lamaisa they wouldn't have said anything. The Mokim, their older brother, but often you see that Yisachar and Zvulun didn't mix in to the Mechiras Yosef and Shechem when they had older brothers, because Al Tzadin Achicha Agadol, even though they weren't the oldest. Reuven was the oldest. Zetzachayis, the Dinti Machaber, the older brothers, not only the oldest brother, all the brothers above you, Yimuchiv Ti Machabed. So we have a Machloikis. Machloikis, if you have to Machabed, all your older brothers are just the oldest brother.
That right over there could be the oldest from the mother, and the brothers. Let's get it off the aim.
We'll get to that. Rabbi Yitzchak saying that Lamaisa wasn't from the father and the mother. We'll get to that in a minute. The Tshuva Sarosh.
And the Medrash doesn't say why they were mechaber the older brother. We found that cheres. Doesn't have
Rabbi Avram, you have a good point. And we'll even see. We'll get to mamash that point. What you're saying, there's some concept of being mechaber. However, it doesn't mean if there's no, if not for the din of lechabed achicha agadol, they wouldn't have an opinion to say about Mechiras Yosef. It was a chomer de gezach that they didn't get involved because of achicha agadol. There is a concept we're going to get to in a minute. Lagabe the sister that Avadi Mechabered, an older sibling. That's regardless. But the din l'rabbi achicha agadol, your older brother. If it wouldn't be that it's referring to all your older brothers, they would have, Pashtas, Yisachar and Zvulun would have got involved in the Mechiras Yosef. What's about an older sister? What's about an older sister? Do you have to mechaber an older sister? The Rabbis Achicha Agadol, we see it's a machloikis that it's only the oldest brother, or maybe it's all the brothers. What about a sister? It's a machloikis. The Shvus Yaakov, the Piskei Tshuva brings on the page. The Beis Lachem Yehuda Weiter brings also from the Rizal. no. However, it doesn't mean that you have to be respectful to them. The Mishnah in Avos says, the Mishnah, a person in Perikei, Chacham einem medaber b'fnei mishu gadol b'menu u'b'minyan. So, what we said before about the sharp, but after they talk, you can speak. Avada, even if there's no chiyuv to machaber the older sister mitzad the giriboy, but avada to be respectful, that's a Mishnah in Avos. Ben adam midas menschlichkeit avada, yeah, but in the din of l'rabbis it's not included. Me'idach, what'd you say?
For a katan, you have to be mechaber. The younger sibling has to be mechaber.
Why not? It's interesting. Sure, you're asking if you have to mechaber your older brother, if a younger child has to mechaber his older brother when the older brother is a katan. What would make? I mean, he himself has to mechaber medin chinuch. So if the older brother is a katan, why would you say not? Because he's not a bar. He's not a bar covered. Interesting shaila. Do you have to mechaber? Interesting shaila. He's saying he's a katan. It's not a bar covered. You're saying it's not. He himself is not b'toras mitzvah. It's only al tzchinuch.
Even a katan, yeah.
But even a katan, it's a covered Torah. So what's about a sister? So we see over here some say no. Me'idach, the Birkei Yosef says from the Arizal that an older sister, yes. Older sister, yeah, it's included. And the Torah Tmima as well also says you have to mechabed out the drasha ve'est devav l'rabbis, an older sister. And he brings a rai from a medrash in Parshas Vayetze. The medrash on the pasuk Vatan Rachel v'Leah. Zok the medrash, Rachel was nenash, that she answered before Leah. She was nenash. Why was she nenash? Because she answered before her older sister. So you see mechaber achoisei agdoila, your older sister. V'leinitin lachalik, that it's only one sister to another sister. He says it's huadin, a brother to her sister as well also. As I was the Torah Tmima. Lamaisa, this raya, they're mafalpa with the raya, and they say it could be that Rachel didn't have to be mechabered her older sister, but because she went before, it was a genai, she was mavaza, that's why she was an enash. So good shaila if it's a raya. Al kaponim, over here we have a machloikis about being mechabered all older brothers. We also have a machloikis about being mechabered an older sister. Just to before we conclude, just to be masakim, so you have a machlokes rishonim if there's a chiyuv min ha-Torah to be mechaber an older brother. Machlokes rishonim if the chiyuv is a chiyuv even la'achar misa of the father, do you have to a person mechaber his older brother. We saw that the kibud is even if it's included in Kibud Av, but it's a different type of kavod. It's not the exact type of kavod as being mechaber a father. It's a little bit of a lower level. Machloikas apoiskim if it's only the oldest brother or all brothers above you. Machloikas apoiskim of an older sister. And just to be Messiah, we spoke tonight about the dinim, the din of being mechaber an older brother. Just to conclude with the lashon of the Yaris Tvash. The Yaris Tvash goes on. I'm going to take out mamash one or two lines to speak how important it is to mechaber an older brother, and b'avayniseinu arabim that we're not careful of that, and that's goyrim that we're not makayim Kibud Av karoi also. V'zeh b'avayniseinu arabim chet gadol l'zmanim that we're not noyik klal kovid ba'acheyam agdoilim cotton koifetz beroish. What exactly, what's called kovid, not dafim visim, but al kopanim cotton koifetz beroish, the ain't kan kovid klal, and because there's no kibud of an older brother, min koyich zeh bottle gam came b'avoyneseinu arabim Kibud Av V'Eim. We should be zoichet hake Havadati Makayim Kibud Av V'Eim, like the Torah says, Aman Yirichi Amecha, she Makayim the